In this episode of the Family's Garage, we're finally going to get to those saggy rear springs. Been wanting to get the springs on this car changed for quite a while. We'll also get a chance to check our pinion angle. We ended up grabbing the Mopar Performance Heavy Duty stock replacement springs from Summit Racing. Ooh, this place is dirty. It's a dirty bee. I don't know if you remember, but in the Power Tour video last year, I mentioned how the springs looked like they were sagging. The bee, on the other hand, other than I think the springs are collapsing as we drive it. Of course, we got her loaded down pretty good. Let me show you what I'm talking about with this rear suspension. So you can see the angle of that leaf spring is pretty flat. I mean, almost exactly flat. This one over here, I swear, is reversed. It's actually reverse sprung. So I'm thinking when I add those in here, we're gonna gain some ride height, which will give us negative pinion angle, and I think that's what the car needs. So have a look. When this thing's going down the road, you can see how it goes from positive to negative pinion angle very easily through the gears. So they say to put your tool directly across the yoke here. Well, it's really hard to do with the drive shaft in. Plus here at the front, you can't really get a good accurate reading without putting it across the end of the output shaft. So I'm gonna pop this drive shaft out and take the 2 measurements and then slap it back in and take the 3rd measurement. Now I'm going to get everything loose underneath and we'll put the car on the ground to actually replace the springs. It looks like Mother Nature had other plans for us. We had to scramble and get everything back inside. We'll get underneath here. This is over here. Let me get out of the way. Super B's back in. We got it on jack stands. We got the rear axle supported. So we'll yank the drive shaft out, drop the springs out, see if we can get this thing apart. Well, there's the carnage. The U-bolts would not come out, had to be cut out, both sides. So we'll have to go grab some new ones. However, everything looks pretty good. You can see where the bushings will ride. The bushings are worn. Shock plates look good. The good news is we do have a complete Prothane leaf spring bushing kit with polyurethane bushings in their little go juice here, so we should be able to replace the bushings, new springs, provided I can get that front bolt out. But I need lunch. I'm starving. Taking that as a small win at the moment. Okay, so we've got our parts drying. We've cleaned and painted everything just so it don't rust. We've inspected all of our hardware. Here's the new springs. You can see, well, you can't even see the old ones behind the new ones. So this is interesting. So if I try to, can't really move that one too much. However, I think those are pretty much shot. So we've got the Mopar Performance heavy duty springs. We're going from, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 with an extra little helper here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the lower one that helps with all the torque of the car rotating towards that back tire. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another thing to note is right here at the front, you can see the new spring has a much smaller, more dense rubber bushing, whereas the old originals are massive and very springy. Hopefully our bolts fit through there. Okay, should we wait for Maggie to get home to put these in? Well, we gotta wait for our paint to dry anyway. So yeah, I think she needs to help. There you go. Heavy duty leaf springs are installed. We'll torque everything once we get it at right height on the rack. The shock mounts cannot go in until we get new U-bolts, since we had to cut them all apart. So looks like we're done for the day. Well, there is the new spring installed. We had to get new U-joints, obviously, because we cut them out, but everything fits just nice. We'll have to jack up the car to get the shocks to hook up. Get this side attached, then get it up on the lift, torque everything down, and take it on a road trip. This car still, after being here for 2 years and having just about every single part of it replaced, still leaves desert floor everywhere you go. See initially the stance, it looks like it's about an inch higher, like about what I suspected, but we're not torqued down yet. We'll have to torque down these eyelet bolts. Then we will have to torque down the shackle nuts. We'll get a final torque on the U-bolts, shock mounts, and U-joint straps. Make sure everything's good to go. With the more spring packs over here, we're just barely protruding through the nut with these heavy duty bottom springs here. This side doesn't have that. Looks like we need to get some paint on there also. Oh, that's just dirt. We should be fine.
the car feels great. The rear end feels much more poised. There's no rattles or squeaks. We'll probably put a few hundred miles on it and then check all the bolts again. But in the meantime, thank you for hanging out with us and watching The Family's Garage.